You are listening to Practical and Woo by Mindset and Manifest. My name is Eden, and I invite you to embark on a journey with me to explore the practical and spiritual edges of the unknown for the purpose of allowing you to embody and empower yourself uniquely as you are and to intentionally create and live a life of freedom and fulfillment. Each week, I am going to discuss topics such as energetics, reality creation, manifestation, astrology, tarot, and more to help empower you to live beyond perceived limitations and to practically design your life so it feels like absolute magic every step of the way. Let's dive in. Well, hello, brilliant soul. Have you ever looked around your life and wondered why that frenemy of yours or that stranger who seems to have everything can appear to be a negative naysayer and still somehow get to have the very things that you're wanting out of life? Perhaps they even go so far as to complain that it's not enough and that they want something different. Meanwhile, they are sitting on the gold mine that you've been consciously calling in. If you've been here and experienced this, like so many of us have, I can attest to how frustrating it is. The way that others seem to have a hall pass for creating your dream life, and they get to be negative while doing it. It summons the question from deep within, why do they have that? And they're being negative in their lives. And why don't I? There's an ache that exists under the surface of this wonderment, an ache of longing, confusion, of self-doubt, the frustration of doing the work and still not seeing the changes that you're wanting. Meanwhile, they are being presented to you, smacking you in the face in the possession of someone who appears to be ungrateful or taking it for granted. And maybe there is shame for even thinking about any of this at all, a subtle sense of doubt towards your creative prowess. Fret not. In this episode, we will explore why this appears to happen and what we can do about it. We shall untangle the thick weeds of this exploration together. Allow me to start by telling you something straight from my heart. There is absolutely, positively nothing wrong with you for wondering. There is something so deeply human about questioning our place in the story of abundance when someone else seems to be living the chapter that we're still waiting to write. But the truth is, manifestation doesn't respond to how positive or negative someone appears to be. It responds to something much deeper. It usually starts innocently enough. You see someone who, in your eyes, doesn't even seem that grateful. Maybe they complain a lot. Maybe they seem to take things for granted. Maybe they just don't strike you as someone who's kind or self-aware or energetically, quote unquote, aligned. And yet, they have what you've been journaling about for months, years even. The job, the partner, the house, the baby, the body, the success, the money, the influencer status, the moolah. And then there it is. That moment where it all goes quiet, except for the dumbfounded voice in your mind that says, if the universe rewards energy, then what the heck is going on here? That voice might spiral. Am I being punished? Am I not enough? Am I doing this wrong? Am I just broken? I want to hold your hand through this moment. And I want you to hug yourself through it too. Because this is not just about reality creation methodologies or vibration or spiritual rules. This is about you and your worth and the lens that you're using to see the world around you. And that lens is everything. Because let's be honest and think clearly and critically for a moment here. We don't actually know what's happening in someone else's experience. But here's what we do know. Here's what we've been unpeeling for some time here on Practical and Woo. The concept that manifestation flows through our beliefs, our expectations, our subconscious agreements with reality. It flows through what feels normal, available, and possible for us. But when you look at someone else and try to reverse engineer what they must be doing right or wrong, then you're using a measuring stick that doesn't apply to you. Because we never really know what someone truly believes is possible for them, what they've normalized since childhood, what their energy is like in that specific subject area, what they're struggling with in the background. I'll give you a quick example. I know someone who manifests money with ease and yet has an incredibly low self-worth in relationships. They don't believe they're lovable, but they believe that they'll always land on their feet financially, and so they do. Meanwhile, someone else might have a beautiful, secure partnership and be in constant survival mode around money. Neither person is doing manifestation right or wrong. They're simply living out the stories that their nervous system and subconscious mind believe to be true for them, for their point of attraction. So when we look at someone who quote unquote has it all and we say, they don't even seem that positive, why do they have it? We're assuming that positivity equals permission, which isn't the case. The universe doesn't grant manifestations based on our judgments of someone else's attitude. It flows through our alignment, through our inner agreements, through our inner familiarity, not through whether or not someone is grateful in the way that we think that they should be. Now, here's where this gets juicy, because when we stop trying to solve the puzzle of someone else's reality, we get to take full creative agency in our own. And this is where our work becomes a self-focused adventure. We get to ask, what do I believe is possible? What do I feel safe receiving? What am I assuming about my timeline, worth, or destiny? What does my energy feel like when I think about this desire? Because manifestation is not a competition. It's not a test. It's a mirror. And every time we spiral into why them and not me, we're looking at the wrong mirror. We're trying to read our own reflection through someone else's face. And that will always, always distort the message received. The fact of the matter is that when we believe that someone who seems negative shouldn't be blessed, we're then the ones who are operating from the place of lack. We're the ones who are then measuring our worth against a fabricated hierarchy. And that hierarchy is often rooted in shame. Shame about what we've done, how we think, how hard we try, and how long it's taken for us. But your worthiness is not and has never been on trial. You are not more worthy when you perform positivity or less worthy when you're in a low mood. You are not being tested and you are not being overlooked. So the real question is this: are you allowing what you want to feel normal for you? Are you orienting your energy around what you desire, or are you orienting it around what you fear? Because you don't manifest based on being a quote unquote good person. You manifest being on what your system can hold and expect. And if someone can expect something, even if they seem negative on the outside, they can and they will receive it. Your job is not to analyze whether they should have it. Your job is to expand your capacity, your own nervous system, to hold what you want. That is the work. So the next time that voice creeps in with, why do they have it and I don't? Try this reframe. Well, they are showing me what is available. They are not proof of my lack. They are proof of what is possible. I can have my own version of that, and I am safe to receive it. You might even whisper to yourself, their success has nothing to do with my timeline. Their energy does not determine my destiny. The universe is not limited, and neither am I. Let these words settle. In this, we're not bypassing the frustration. We're transmuting it, because every trigger is a mirror. And if you feel tender watching someone receive something that you want, then it doesn't mean you're bitter or bad. It means you care. It means you have a desire. It means your heart is still in it. And that, my dear soul, is something to deeply honor and trust in yourself. The other thing we can do is recognize that manifestation and reality creation is and should be a self-focused adventure, because the universe is always in relationship with you, not with who you compare yourself to, not with your idea of how it should go, but just you. So what if you started turning your attention away from tracking others and towards anchoring yourself? What if the question became, what am I now ready to feel at home with? What assumptions am I willing to change? What if it could be easy, normal, and safe to live in the energy of my dream? You get to build an inner world where the thing you want is not rare, not reserved for a lucky few, but expected, familiar, and yours. You get to do it again and again and again, not because you were positive enough or grateful enough or perfect enough, but because you chose to stay in relationship with what you want to believe is possible, normal, natural, and accessible for you. So the next time you notice that question rising, why do they have it and they're not even that positive, kind, self-aware, evolved? And why don't I? Take a moment, breathe, turn inward, and remember, you can never truly know what's happening inside someone else's adventure. You can only choose how you will meet yourself in your own life. Your relationship with your own world is where your attention should remain. Comparison will never give you clarity, but curiosity about your own frequency, that makes worlds unfold. The universe isn't measuring anyone, it's mirroring everyone. And you, my love, are allowed to have it your way. So let this be your season. Let this knowing land for you on a cellular level. You don't have to prove your worthiness. You only have to remember it. Thank you for being here with me on this episode of Practical and Woo. Let's keep lifting each other up in truth, compassion, and creative power. If this particular episode landed for you, I would feel so honored and grateful for you to share it with someone who might be swirling in that same comparing question. Otherwise, I bid you adieu. So stay curious, stay kind, and stay in your magic. Until next time.